Albania is known as the land of eagles, and this is exactly the way people in Albania often call their country. The eagle is an important symbol of the nation, and it's also featured on the national flag. It has a lot to do with history, rather than with the population of eagles in this area. Interestingly, people in Albania speak a language that isn't closely related to any other language in the world. It forms its own branch of Indo-European languages. It's commonly thought that the Albanian language was spoken by the inhabitants of the Balkans before the Roman Empire came there. And surprisingly, the language survived all the assimilation processes. There is a centuries-long tradition in Albania to hang a stuffed animal out of the window or balcony to protect the property from invasion or thieves. During the communist years, the tradition was mostly extinct. But in the 1990s, a lot of Albanians started doing this again. About 70% of Albanian territory is covered in mountains. Also, the country has almost 400 kilometers of coastline, which is formed by the Adriatic and Ionian Seas. Not bad for a country with 2.8 million population. Every single Albanian citizen could have a personal place on the seashore. If an Albanian person nods to your question, it may well mean no. Like in many Balkan countries, they may nod to disagree with you and shake their heads to agree with you. If you are planning your visit to Albania, you better consider this cultural feature to avoid serious misunderstandings. Public transport is pretty funny in Albania. Buses usually depart when they are full. There is no certain timetable in the system of city transport. Also, you may note that a bus driver decided to idle at a certain bus stop for several minutes to get more passengers. In most Albanian cities, using public transport is more like playing roulette. You never know the eventual result. Sport is not really that popular in Albania. The most beloved activity is walking in the evening with friends and family. But in terms of professional sports, only football is more or less popular. It's interesting that Albania hasn't yet won a single Olympic medal in its entire history. If you decide to drive a rental car in Albania, you should be careful. The traffic here is insane, and like in many Balkan countries, people are hot-headed and slightly impatient. Road rules, signs, and traffic lights certainly aren't the most important factors on the road here, and you should get used to it. Also, it's quite interesting that Albania has a very rich history, but it only got its independence in 1991. Before this, the country was under the Ottoman Empire, under Italy, then under Russian communists, and only after the USSR fell apart, they became independent. Albania has great nature with mountains and seashores. This creates beautiful landscapes and places for tourism and beach holidays. But there is one thing that you should know prior to booking your ticket. This place is pretty dirty. Every place that people often visit is covered in litter. The country is now trying to cope with this issue, but the results of these trials are yet to come. Albania has a pretty bad reputation in the West, but the majority of stereotypes about Albanians are complete nonsense. The country went through a very harsh period of communist occupation, and it was completely poor and exhausted in 1991. People migrated to Western countries massively then. That's when the West made up its stereotypes about the nation. Now, Albania is a friendly and welcoming nation and a developing country, just like many other Balkan and Eastern European countries. So you aren't going to be robbed in the airport right after arrival or kidnapped from a hotel. Well, at least the chance of this is not higher than in Turkey or North Macedonia.